Welcome, Alexandra.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're here too. Please tell everybody about who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Alexandra. I'm Echoes. I make music that is about healing from trauma, and I love making visuals that go along with my music. And just, I guess, like, I need to have a better answer. I'm like, my brain is kind of stumped this morning. That's me. I am the poetic feeling person.
Nice. Um,
Yeah.
all right, so here's some bonus ways to answer. Do you work on anything outside of music, like a crystal collector or a pet mother?
These are really good questions. I am a huge crystal collector. I am
Aw.
obsessed with like trinkets and all things like vintage and like things that look haunted. I am a pet mother to my sweet Bean who passed away 2 years ago, but I visit his grave often and journal there, and I put crystals around his grave every time I go visit. So,
What kind
yeah.
of animal was Bean?
He was a cat, an
Oh.
American wire hair who just appeared in the forest one day. So the cat distribution system was real with him.
Aw, that's so
Hmm.
cute. My
Yeah.
my pet parrots are both rescues as well. So
Oh, what are their names?
Pongo and Skittles, or
Oh my
Skeetles
God. I
sometimes.
love them.
Yeah,
That's so
no, I love
cute.
them too. That's how it stands for them. What's your favorite crystal?
Ooh. I feel like I love this is a hard question.
Right? I'm thinking
I'm
about the answer myself.
I know I'm looking at one right now and I'm like, why don't I know the name of it? It's this giant like tower of it's obsidian. Yeah, I love obsidian.
Obsidian's so good. Okay, I got a
Hmm.
new crystal recently. I'm about to publish a short story with DMR Publishers, which is this sci-fi fantasy publisher who publishes
Amazing.
work by heavy metal musicians, and they do these
Cool.
anthologies of short stories. And I had written in the short story about the solar steam that the Vikings
Ooh.
to identify where the sun was, and it would have two dots on the top, and you lay flat on your back, and you look up through it, and there's this refraction of light that moves through it, and when you rotate it, the two dots will get darker when the refraction overlaps, and that will point you in the direction of the sun 40 minutes after sunset with an accuracy of 1 degree. So this is
Wow.
currently the most interesting crystal in my collection, and somebody gifted it to me
Oh
after the
my God.
story, and I thought, well, that's very nice. But
I
obsidian,
love that. Yeah, this was gifted to me too. I'll just go get it now that we're showing crystals. I'm like, this thing is sick as hell.
we're
My
having
friend,
tea, we're showing crystals, we're talking
I
about heavy metal.
know.
Mm.
I love this thing. It is sick. I keep it just like on my altar under a bunch of candles, and I think like the best crystals are the ones that are gifted to you, right? Because it
Yeah,
has like that
absolutely.
intentional energy. I love that I'm just like, this is my this thing's so sick. So yeah,
Uh, oh yeah,
that's
that is amazing. That is huge. Um,
yeah.
so now, when did you first realize that you loved rock and heavy metal and goth and dark music, and that you wanted to make more of it?
Oh, that's a great question. I was a wee lad. I was probably like 6 or so, and my dad would play a bunch of music, and I would just listen to it and be like, I'm gonna do that when I get older. So I feel like I just always kind of had it in me. I'm a very big like manifester. I always talk about how I just kind of know things and just follow my intuition. And my mom always says when I was 5, I just always told her like I'm gonna grow up and be a singer. And they were just kind of like, okay. So now we're here. So I feel like it's just kind of been like a thing I've always known in my soul. Hmm.
Were there any particular like bands or songs that your dad played that like really clicked for you at a young age?
Um, I always feel like so corny that I don't have like a different answer because I feel like it's so clear and like on the nose, but he played like All of Fallen by Evanescence for
Oh
me, and
yeah.
I that was like my like awakening as like I need to sing. Like I just was like yes.
Yes.
So I feel like that was, and I remember it very clearly. Like my parents had this Suburban and it had the blue seats, like very 90s, but I guess we're talking about 2001. So, you know what I mean, though. It was like, I remember being like sitting in the back, like on these blue seats and hearing that for the first time and just being like, So that was my like moment of like, okay, I need
I
to do
love
this
it.
too. Yeah.
Yes, the origin with the rock goddess. You know, you go to the oracle. It's Amy Lee
Yeah.
from Evanescence. Tells you you will be a singer.
Yes, I guess so. I don't know. And like I grew up in the woods too, so I always feel like I've been in touch with my like inner goddess and portal of like, I don't know, knowing. And I feel corny when I say that, but that's what happened. So it's just
There's nothing corny
yeah.
about it. Nothing corny
Yeah.
about it at all. Okay, if your music were a movie soundtrack, what would the movie be about?
Twilight.
Okay.
Whole
Next
saga.
question. Next question. What have you discovered about yourself in moments when you had to make difficult sacrifices for your art? For example, discovering that you perform very well under pressure, or that taking a lamb to slaughter provides the energy that you need to focus.
Ooh, that's great. I recently went through a lot of that in my like in my own life and business and just like being put under pressure instead of giving up and hiding because that's something I tend to do. Like I am such a sensitive person that if something intense happens, I sleep. Like I will avoid everything and sleep
Mm,
through it. But I'm like recently going through some stuff that I was like I'm wide awake for and I just feel
mm,
like it has transformed me. So I think sometimes going through things that feel hard, you surprise yourself with how you adapt and move through it. And you can't really learn those lessons until you're being presented with it. So I think that would be the thing I'm learning the most is I do work really well under pressure and I don't have to run away from it.
ooh, yeah.
Hmm.
Almost like sometimes perhaps seeking it out, creating. I don't know, for me, like it might be ADHD, but I like having a lot of projects going on at the same time.
Same. Oh my
And
God.
I
Yeah.
get them done when there's a lot,
Yeah.
when there's like, not a lot of pressure, then I'm sort of like fooling around. And also like this question sometimes brings up that like music requires so much sacrifice, or art in general,
Yeah.
that you have to figure out, or you have to, yeah, like find your mantra for like art, preserves your mental health. And
Hmm.
if you sacrifice that because it's hard, then you get this
Hmm.
quiet life that might not be good for your mental health.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing because music is the number one thing that quiets my mind and that gives me that place of peace, but it is also the thing that causes me the most pain because it is
Mm,
such a stressful industry.
mm,
But the mantra that I've always held on to is everything that I want also wants me.
mm,
So if it isn't for me and it doesn't want me, that's okay, and it's just going to be a redirection.
yeah, the
Hmm.
redirection. I've like
Hmm.
tried to steer in the direction of more like stable and expected career paths. And every time I get turned around back to the arts. And then when I just allow that, like allow myself to embrace it, then
Hmm.
it falls in place so much faster than I could even think of it to. Like it
It's
happens
yeah.
faster than I can think of.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's like funny. Okay, so
I relate to that.
there's a vision board. It's your vision board. You could have any pieces of band memorabilia of all time on the vision board. What would you have on it?
Oh, for like bands that I like or bands that that's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
great
for
question.
you. And you
Um,
can also necromance things from whenever.
oh, wow. These are really good questions. These are things I haven't thought about before, so I actually don't even know. Like, I would probably want well, I love like vintage tees, so I would want like actual like not like reproductions of them. Like
Mm,
I would love like a vintage Deftones hoodie. Like that
mm,
would be sick. Definitely like original Evanescence merch. I have like reprints of it, but I want like the original would be really sick. Um, and wow, I feel like I have bad answers because I haven't really
okay.
thought about this,
These
so
are
it
good
take me a
answers. Well,
second.
let me give you some inspiration. One time somebody
Okay.
said Freddie Mercury's mustache in a jar of preservative, like beautiful glass
Oh.
jar with his mustache.
Hell yeah. I mean, I guess I have like my dead cat's fur like in a jar. So these are really good. I don't know. I feel like I already have most of the weird shit in my house that I want. So I don't know how to think any further than that. But maybe I gotta like think about this later. Oh my God. I'm
That
my
that's
hand.
okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. It's a good answer. And now we know about the cat fur.
Yeah.
I do have a jar of my parrot's shed feathers, and I've had this bird. He turns 20 this year,
Oh
so
my
it's a lot of
God.
feathers, and I don't know what I want to do with them yet. But I was thinking about making a hand fan.
Yeah, that
Just
would be
thought maybe it'd be too
I
macabre. Like, where did you get all these bird feathers?
birds. I love that. I feel like that is really special to like, immortalize something like that. I guess another weird thing I have my I have my wisdom teeth like turned into necklaces.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to think of I don't know if I would like want anyone else's tooth. I feel like that'd be kind of weird, but I like having my tooth, I guess.
If I could have like a death effigy of Janis Joplin, I would definitely hang it on the wall. If I could
Okay,
have
that'd be
like
kind of sick. Yeah.
right, like a whole bunch of wax death effigies of rock stars. Like you walk in and like the first thing you see is all these faces of the dead in my house, just to let you know. Um,
Yeah.
so
Hell
yes,
yeah.
speaking of
I
weird,
can
go
That's
on.
all right. I can support the vision. I'm like, whose teeth would I want? I don't know. I can't put a finger on it, but I have two necklaces of my wisdom teeth. My friend got them made for me because I would always joke about how I wanted to put my teeth on a necklace, and she like kept the teeth safe for me because I was like, you just seem like someone who could keep teeth safe, and she did, and then gifted them to me as necklaces. So that's
Aw,
probably the weirdest thing I have in my house. That would be that. Yeah.
big obsidian crystals and wisdom tooth necklaces.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, so what's a comfortable balance for you between the rock star who has curious fans and the private individual who doesn't want to share everything? Or what do you love talking to your fans about? And what do you wish your fans would, or people in general, would stop asking you?
Oh, I love talking to my fans just about like mental health and life, and we talk about a lot of memes. We have a bunch of inside jokes. That's kind of we call ourselves the mug cult. I'm drinking out of one of them right now. It's an Echoes mug.
Mm.
So I don't. We just have like this whole like running joke about like I don't know, just like yearning and drinking coffee, and it's kind of a whole thing. So I love that we can talk about those things, and I feel like I'm a pretty open book. Like I'm very introverted, but I definitely like share all of my feelings and thoughts pretty openly. I don't think anyone asks me anything that makes me annoyed. Um, I feel like there's really nothing that anyone's asked me yet that feels uncomfortable or weird. So I'm sure maybe that'll change one day and I'll have thoughts about it. But so far, all my fans are just, they kind of feel like the big group chat. I really love them. Hmm.
Um, okay, looking back, what was a big decision you made that turned out to be a great choice?
Okay.
Before it.
So something that I feel like was a good decision is there was a song on the record that isn't out yet. Well maybe it'll be out by the time this interview comes out, but we were we were finished with it and felt like we had put the stamp of approval on it, and we went in to clean up a vocal and ended up changing the melody up a bit, and it just like gave this overwhelming feeling of like this is what the song needed to be.
Mm.
So I'm glad that we had made that change because I don't think it would have the same impact that it has now. So it's like trusting your intuition even at the last and final hour. It's okay to make those changes if it's gonna like lead to the highest good and have an outcome that feels more aligned with you. So I think that was an example of a decision that I made that I feel like is hopefully going to be whatever it's supposed to be. But I have a feeling that it made the song what it is by making those changes.
Nice, nice. Trusting your intuition again. So, which leads perfectly into the next question. What does it feel like to you when your intuition is speaking?
Ooh, I get chills over my entire body. And I always say when I'm in the studio, there's a feeling that I want to feel, which I know is such like a weird, vast thing. But everybody that I work with, they're like, okay, yeah, we know what you mean. And we'll be like, we'll be writing and maybe trying to find the energy. And then as soon as we find it, it's like time just goes like this and it like
Mm.
comes in. And I feel like that's my intuition, just like, you know, dancing outside of me and being like, yes, you're doing the right thing. And then everyone in the
Mm.
room is feeling it. And it's like, it's a really beautiful thing. So I guess I'm answering it in the sense of like creative intuition because that's all I think about. But I
Yeah.
guess intuition in like the day to day would be just like, does something feel good? And I typically get chills when it does
Mhm.
as like a confirmation.
Oh, okay. It's so fun to get the variety of answers to that question. I ask everybody that question, and like some people will talk about feeling unease and being directed
Mm,
away. Some people talk about feeling joy and being led in a certain direction. So,
hmm
like, for the people that watch every episode, I'm sure they're getting like a lot to think about.
I
So,
love that.
what is your favorite gear and your favorite stage wear?
Oh, I have a Telefunken M80 and I love that. I That's been like my favorite mic forever. I feel like it picks up all of the tones in my vocals really clearly. I have my like what else do I like? I have my 64 audio in-ears. Never gonna miss a chance to plug them. I love them. I can hear myself crystal clear with those. And then I also really like my audio interface, my Apollo Twin. That's a staple. And yeah, those are my three favorite pieces of gear right now.
What about stage wear?
Oh, like outfits?
Yeah, you're like your
Or
Stevie Nicks, flowy John, or your, feather boa Janis Joplin thing.
I typically wear like trip pants and like mesh. I feel like that's my favorite thing. I'm having a corset era right now. I cannot stop buying corsets. So I feel like corsets and my pants and mesh are like my favorite thing ever. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get a good pro tip on this. How do you like your corset to fit as a singer?
As a singer, I feel like I love when my corset fits like in the middle because if I can't breathe, then there's no way that I'm able to hit my high notes. So I wore the last show that I played, I was wearing a corset and it looked really good, and I was like, guys, I'm gonna pass out. So I had to find a happy medium with it. hmm
Excellent. Um, when you hit the inevitable flaming hoop in the circus, like the wheel falls off the van or your drummer breaks their foot or the album is delayed, what helps you keep your spirits up?
Oh, great question. I meditating, walking, journaling, and honestly, like my newfound thing, I've always loved thrifting, but I've like turned thrifting into like a I need me time. I gotta go to Goodwill. Like I'm serious, just having something that like isn't me obsessing over echoes for like a half hour. That's one of those things that
Mm.
I love doing. But I would say walking and meditating are like my go-to. And listening to positive affirmations, that always brings me back to the center.
What kind of meditation do you like to practice? Because I know some people are more like breathing oriented, some people are more mantra oriented, some people it's actually like looking at, their crystal ball or a flame, doing some
Mhm.
scrying. What's for you?
I love listening to 432 hertz music and just like completely zoning out. I do love chanting as well. And sometimes I'll just kind of like make up little songs and just like sing whatever emotions
Hmm.
are coming to me. Because I always feel like I use music as a tool for healing and my voice belongs to other people, but there's like little songs that I do alone that no one will ever hear that are just like
Hmm.
kind of silly, like chanting, even like words that aren't real, just kind of channeling. So
Hmm.
I like thinking about that because I'm like my voice has belonged to other people through, messages and poetry that like this is a place where my voice is just mine.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've been doing a
Very.
lot of that.
What's that about poetry? Have you been writing some poetry as well?
Yeah, I write poetry almost every day. That's my like
Oh,
my
that's a practice
Mhm.
right there. Okay.
Yeah, I
Go
love it.
on.
Yeah, it helps me with my songwriting. I try to just do these like little free writes of poems that I'm just with whatever I'm feeling in the moment. And then I typically bring that little journal with me to the studio. So yeah, I love poetry.
I love a daily practice. For me, I have this, it's kind of like my Carl Jung red book of
I
daily
love.
doodles. So, like, I don't know, parrots,
Oh, I
those sorts
love
of things.
that.
Or
You're
like,
so good.
thank
I
you.
can't draw. Oh, that's
Uh,
amazing. I love that.
Like, anyways,
I love it.
I love a daily practice though. I love doing my daily doodle in the morning before I give myself to my day. Especially
Yes.
like right when you first wake up, you have all that clarity of mind after
Hmm.
your dreams and
Hmm.
everything. That's the best
I'm
time for me.
Yes, me too. I'm a huge like lucid dreamer, and my biggest thing is I love to wake up really early. I always
Hmm.
make a joke where I'm like, I love to wake up early and yearn before I give myself to the day. And I do.
Yes.
It's like it's so special because if you wake up at like 6:30, 7 a.m., like you feel like you're the only person in the world, and you
Hmm.
just have this like sacred time to journal, doodle, go for a walk, meditate, and it just feels like uninterrupted thinking time. Like I tell everyone, I'm like, I need like 3 hours to think in the morning
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm the same way.
before I
I
become a person.
completely understand. When I'm being really good, it's a 5 a.m. practice. And
Yeah.
I love having, like, honestly, like you said, 3 hours to,
Hmm.
like, slowly drink the coffee. And, like, when you're getting into a big think where you're really getting somewhere and you just
Hmm.
need to, like, wash your face in the middle of it and then come back to it again.
Yes.
And like I like to like talk to Tina Turner about what I'm doing with my life. She
Fuck
knows.
yeah.
So
I love that. I do that with my dead cat's fur. I have it in like
ah
yeah, I will talk to him and just like meditate and like I also have photos of like my child self. That was something when my vocal coaches told me
mm,
to do. So I have like a little baby photo of me and like
mm,
look at ways that I can make her proud throughout my day too.
ooh,
So yeah.
wow.
Hmm.
That is very intense and I am totally gonna find a baby photo to do that with.
Yes, you should. It's like, I don't know, it gives you a lot of self-compassion too, and just like a
Ooh.
lot of self-love and thinking about like, how can I show up for her today? So I love to do that. And I'm with you on the 3 hour morning. Like I saw this like tweet that said the feminine urge to have breakfast for 3 hours. And I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's that's what I do every day. So before
Absolutely.
it's how I get into my most creative headspace.
Yeah, and the other thing is like the for me, it sounds like also for you, the mind is
Hmm.
clearest when it's nice and fresh after a good long 10-hour sleep.
Hmm. I have to
And
have like 10 hours or I will die.
yeah,
Hmm.
me too.
Hmm.
I like it. I'm not really myself unless I have 10 hours, but they only studied men when they came up with this idea that humans needed like 6 or 7 hours. Women
Yeah,
need like
no.
9 or 10
Uh-huh.
and more when you're on your period.
Yes,
Get
thank you.
that word out there.
I will die on that hill. Yeah, we got to sleep when we're on our periods. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not real. So,
Yeah.
hmm.
And naps should always be granted at any time of day, but
Yep.
uh the first like 3 hours when your brain is fresh, it's like I want to apply it to like
Hmm.
figuring out what my goal setting is and my next step forward and like what's the smallest, most important thing that I can do today to make sure that
Yeah.
everything still moves forward. Not like the
Yeah.
biggest thing that can come later, but like the smallest, most important thing today.
Yeah, and I think that you can't do that if you're overwhelmed by like immediately checking your phone, which like obviously that happens sometimes. I'm trying to be better about it. And just going directly into, your most human morning and then, going through a checklist and like just not having the overwhelming energy from a phone and the internet just like
Mm-hmm.
flooding your brain first thing in the
Mm-hmm.
morning. So it does give you the space to like create like small goals and just really sit with them. So I guess like mornings they feel it's like a ritual.
Yeah, totally.
Hmm.
Because like after like 10 a.m., the chaos begins. And
Yes,
everybody's like
I
blowing up your phone and like,
yes.
gotta go outside. You gotta leave your
Hmm.
house.
Ah, scary. I
I
know. I
know.
I have that too. And I always tell people like if I sleep in, I'm gonna have a bad day. Like if I sleep in even till 9, I'm like, it's not the same as having that 5, 6, 7 a.m. vibe. Like you could wake up at 9 and still have the same morning routine, but it's not the same. Does that make sense? Like it just,
Absolutely. I totally
oh,
get it. Yeah. And because
mm-hmm.
I have this thing where I say I have a flight at 9 and it's
Okay.
just like I don't know, it's like a part of like how I get out of stuff late at night and how I like um get like myself like up and leaving places in the morning.
Hmm.
So,
I love that.
sorry, I gotta catch a flight. It's really
Yeah,
critical.
I'm gonna start saying that. Well, I just tell everybody in my life, I'm like, bro, once 10 p.m. hits, I am not a person anymore. It is time to go to bed. So everyone who knows me, all my friends are like, oh, we want to invite you to this thing, but it doesn't even start until 10. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Because if
I
I
mean,
stay up late, I get sick. Like I really do get sick if I stay up late. Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I'll try to hang in there for stuff, but it like pretty much like wrecks the whole next day to have bad sleep. It,
Yeah. It's really hard with touring. Like I have to make
Mhm.
sure that I sleep so much because obviously shows go really late and like it's so hard for me to stay up. So honestly, like pre-show, I have coffee at like 10 p.m. to get my body through it.
So here's a little pro tip picked up from Jinx Dawson. She, even if she's like, obviously she could headline the tours she does, but sometimes she'll let the other band headline or they'll do like a joint
Oh,
headline and she will
love
go second to last if she's done by 8 p.m.
that is the dream.
Queen status.
That is some queen shit. Yeah, I feel like a lot of Echoes fans, we've joked about this before. We're like, what if we did like a 6 p.m. show, everyone drinks tea and we're all home by 8? Like I will pioneer that if that's a thing. Like I would be happy to be the one that does early shows for the early people because I am an early people.
Yeah, do a Sunday matinee.
Oh
Like,
my God, hell yeah.
where is your band local to?
Um, I guess, well, right now, Los Angeles.
Okay,
Hmm.
so yeah, there's definitely enough people in Los Angeles that would go to a Sunday matinee because like
Yeah.
most people aren't working on Sunday. You should come.
Yeah, I will. I actually think that sounds like the greatest idea ever. We're manifesting something right now.
Perfect, perfect. Okay,
Hmm.
so speaking of performances, what is a performance memory that you'll never forget?
Hmm. I think one like a big one that sticks with me is when I was I'm so bad with like time and memory, so I might be butchering this. It was 2016. I'm like, how old was I then? I don't know. Isn't real. But in 2016, I played Snow Globe, and that was the first music festival I had ever gone to. Like, I'd never been to a music festival before, and I think I went in 2012. So I just remember standing there and being like, I'm gonna play this music festival one day. And then I did, and that was like, I was like, okay, fuck, like I can really manifest some shit here. So that was a really special performance memory because it felt really full circle. And I played the stage I said I would play, and it was like very surreal.
Oh, love it. Okay, and after a long day of recording, touring, or working out the kinks otherwise, how do you most like to practice self-care?
I love bubble baths. I always take a bubble bath and listen to either chanting or 432 hertz music. And I have candles on and I'm usually drinking tea and I just like sit in there and meditate.
Mm.
Or I'll journal. I'll bring my journal into the bath. But that's like the number one way for me to wind down.
Completely get this. Okay, so
Hmm.
for one thing, these like giant water things that they're making fun of all the time that the ladies like is like a gallon of water, but it's in like a cute
Yeah.
thing. All right, I bought one. I call it the boob because it has like a really soft straw.
The boob. I
It's
love
pink,
that.
like I got a pink one, and I
Oh
was
my
like, this
God.
pink thing with a soft straw is just a giant adult boob.
Boob. I love it. I want one.
But I love it for the bath because like I like a really hot bath that makes me sweat and I sweat
Me
better
too.
if I'm really hydrated. So it's like
Yeah,
having this giant thing is really makes that work out.
I love
And
that.
what is your favorite thing to put in your bath that people might not expect?
Um, I like putting rose petals in my bath, but I feel like that checks out. I feel like somebody would hear that and be like, that makes sense. Rose. Oh, well, okay. Last night I put moon water that I charged under
Mm,
the Sagittarius full moon.
mm.
And I had kept it on my altar for last night's Gemini full moon. And yeah, so I guess that's something that maybe people would be like, I didn't know that she did that, but that's a thing I do.
That's so great. Yeah, I do charge some water in the moon too, but I have not thought of putting it in my bath. Great.
Yeah.
Great idea.
That yeah,
Uh,
it was really cool. And I feel like it helped me like channel because last night's moon was about your inner child, and
Mm,
it just felt like my bath was this little portal last night, and I was just singing all these like little love songs to myself, which felt very like something I probably did as a kid in the bath, and it was really special.
love it. All right.
hmm
What about new announcements?
My new album, Quiet in Your Service, will be out on January 17th. I'm so excited. I'm probably gonna like cry the day it comes out. I always do that. I like lie on my floor and listen to it in full and cry.
Mm,
And I'm
yeah.
like, this is no longer mine. It's just such a weird thing. I'm so excited for that. And then I'm going to be doing an intimate stripped performance of the record on July, or I keep saying July, it's January. I like even told people, like I told my family, I was like, yeah, I'm having a release party in July. And they're like, great, perfect time to plan. It's January, January 15th. I don't know why my brain's doing this. Intimate release party stripped set of my new record, Quiet in Your Service, at Resident downtown LA on January 15th. So I'm super excited about that. We're going to have art vendors and it's going to be like a very intimate setting. And I just think it'll be a really fun way to bring the album out into the world.
For sure. And where can everybody listen to your music and follow what you do?
Yeah, it's at Echoes Official on all socials. You can find my music on every streaming platform.
Okay. And then we finish every episode with the vinyl game. I will hold
Ooh,
up two pieces of vinyl and you'll pick one that you want to ask a question about or say something about.
okay.
So, Cher or Pat Benatar?
Ooh, share.
Okay. What do
Tell
you love
me.
about Cher? Or you
I love
want to
her.
share fun facts?
I want you to tell, yeah, you to tell me the fun facts. I love
Okay.
this cover. Yeah.
Cher is one of our rock goddesses who did the power pivot. The power pivot is a coming of age ritual for every female musician, apparently, where you are like in your first project or the project that you work really hard on and you don't know what you're capable of yet. And then the monkey wrench gets thrown in and you have to decide if you're going to quit music or you're going to power pivot. And Cher is a goddess of the power pivot. Her biggest hit came out when she was in her 60s off the
Whoa.
album Believe, that song, I believe in life after life.
She was 60 when that happened?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
And she had tons of hits before that. You know, she had her
Yeah.
variety show and everything with all her fabulous outfits. And yeah, so Cher is also here to remind us that women never expire.
Yes. I love that. I feel like I needed to hear that because that is definitely something that runs through my brain a lot. Like I'm 31 and I'm like, ah, but that was a nice little reminder.
I got fun facts. All right, so Kate Bush or Patti Smith?
Ooh, Patti Smith.
Ooh, okay. What do you love about Patti Smith?
I wanted to hear more facts from you about her.
Okay, so she and Blondie were both on the cover of this punk zine in New York that really launched their careers, actually. I mean, Blondie got popular in Australia before Debbie Harry and her band
hmm
Blondie got popular in New York. Um, and yeah, so don't skip the zines is the lesson we can get from Patty. And she's also a
Yes.
fabulous poet, of course.
I love that.
Excellent lyricist. And just an original beauty too, unique and
Yeah.
okay. So then, Bonnie Tyler or Stevie Nicks.
Ooh, Stevie Nicks.
Okay. Now you got to
I
get a fun fact on Stevie Nicks.
yes, I love her. I love how witchy and spiritual she is. I'm ready for your fun facts. I like listening to these.
Well, first of all, Bird Lady, and then
Yes.
um, and then whatever's going on here, gazing from
hmm
the tambourine.
I love that.
And like, do not miss the crystal ball inside the tambourine on the.
hmm
So Stevie Nicks also did her power pivot, but she did hers like a I don't even know what to say. This album, Belladonna, was in the top, I think, 200, top of the charts somewhere for 3 years. It wasn't
Wow.
until Adele released an album that anybody had an album in that level of the charts for that long.
Wow.
3 years.
That's
and
incredible.
it really is. So the two people who did that were both women. And Stevie Nicks, she of course was in Fleetwood Mac, and when they released their first album, she turned around and spent all the money opening her own label. So all of her music that she released thereafter came out on her own label, and that's how she got stinking rich. And it also caused like a lot of like band tension because she wanted to be in Fleetwood Mac, but she was like really, becoming like its star. And even though there are many other talented people in that band. So, anyway, think like Stevie. When you get your hands on money, think about how to grow it, girls.
Mm-hmm.
Stevie the investor, the goddess.
Yes.
Okay.
Goddess investment. I agree with that.
And, all right, these two are newer, but you might know them. LA Witch or Hoax.
Oh, I actually do not know them, but I would love which one is your favorite?
Well, probably Hoax because I'm a huge fan of the bassist who is Pearlzor or April, and she also sings for her own band Soul Grinder,
Oh,
and
sick.
sometimes
Okay.
she fills for the bass in Unto Others. And she's just like a really rad person, and she was one of the first people to be on this show.
I love
And
that.
yeah, she's a super fantastic and does like small medals and is just like a wonderful creative person. But it's both of these are three-piece doom metal bands, all girls,
Sick.
all
Okay,
girls.
I will love them then. I'm gonna check
You
them out.
will. I try to pick stuff that I think will like appeal to the guest in
Yeah. I'm
episode.
writing them down in my little I have like a notepad of all the things I want to check out, so I'm
Yeah,
excited.
and LA Witch is local to LA, so you might be able to catch some of their shows.
I would love that.
Yeah, they're both like doomy, those sort of dreamy, monotone kind of lyrics and good
That's my
stuff on both
favorite.
sides. I just picked, it was hard to pick between the two, but I just,
Yeah,
on a
I'm
personal level,
excited.
I like April. So,
I love doom metal and it's just so like so good to listen to and meditate to as well, honestly. I love it. Hmm.
well, then you would also love Sabbath Warlock.
I'm adding this to my list as well.
It is also a female inclusive, I guess I could say, because it's actually not female fronted, but the bassist of Sabbath Warlock, um, Gita Gash, she's a New Yorker from like the original punk scene, like the Sid and Nancy era. They were like
Love.
people that were in the bar drinking with her and acting crazy. Anyway, she also has had an episode on the Rock Goddesses, and
Sick.
she's so cool. She has played at the Whitney Biennial and MoMA PS1 because the other band she's in, The Voluptuous Horror of Karen Black, is it's a band that's very art rock, and so they get like grants from fabulous places like MoMA and
That's
the
amazing.
Whitney to play instead of
That would be,
I know, right? Like
yeah, that'd be
giving us
insane.
giving us guidance, these rock goddesses, showing us that there's
Yes.
many ways to do the thing. Okay. So also quite doomy. King Woman or Lucifer.
Ooh, tell me about King Woman.
Okay, so Doom. Um, I don't know a whole lot about her actually, but um, don't relapse records. Honestly, I don't know that much about King Woman. I have not
That's
seen
okay.
King Woman live. I just have that album that I enjoyed, but I can say more about Lucifer. And
Yeah.
Johanna is the singer, and this is like if you like Black Sabbath, Ozzy era, this is great stuff. And I actually won this small piece of vinyl from being in Johanna's satanic poetry contest and winning.
I
So
love that. It's a really beautiful piece of art too. I love that's oh, that is so cool. That's so sick. I love. Yeah,
love a
that's really
little
cool.
little piece of vinyl.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
yeah, but Lucifer super good. They have 4 albums out right now, and also quite doomy with a lot of rock and roll sound to it. And The drummer of Lucifer is also in the Helicopters, which is a Grammy-winning rock band, which is like quite an accomplishment.
Mm,
Swedish Grammy.
cool.
Anyway, so that's it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me and thank you for sharing all that. I wrote a bunch of bands down that I'm stoked to check out and loved this. Loved talking about all of the cool spiritual things and crystals. I know I'm like, I got this right here. This was super fun. And thank you again for having me and giving me a place to talk about my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Keep in touch.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.